everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. Welcome. Uh, I don't normally do a live stream, but today I got to watch Venom, uh, uh, Let There Be Carnage, and I'm just pretty excited after the movie. So here we go. Um, I do want to thank first. I want to thank Rob and all the people coming over from his stream. If you haven't subscribed, go check out the Rob Fishback Network. They got some really cool stuff coming up today too. We'll put a link on that later on in the chat. But so yeah, we're here. We're gonna do this is completely non spoilers because I understand this is like the movie just came out a couple hours ago. Most places, like 5 hours ago at most. I want to say hi to some people in the chat: Glenn Caesar, Matt, Rob. Yeah. Like I said, if you're here, don't worry about spoilers. Hey John. Uh, I'm not gonna go into spoilers. This is mainly to just really talk about the movie very quickly, very high overview, and then actually just talk about more about the comic stuff and some comic origins of Venom and Carnage and some reading recommendations if y'all want to. I just really kind of wanted to get some things out there. So first, let's just talk about the movie real quick. So Venom: Let There Be Carnage, 2021. It is rated PG-13. It's an hour and a half, which is great runtime. As of me going live right now, there is a 57% score on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics, 88% on the audiences. I think I fall closer to the audience. I'll have a full written up review on my letterbox after the show. So this movie was directed by Andy Serkis uh, and written by Kelly Marcel. And then Tom Hardy has a story by credit as well with Kelly Marcel. So if you're not familiar with the prior incarnation of the Venom movie, we met Eddie Brock, a reporter in San Francisco. This is a Sony movie, so there's always all this nebulous stuff about Spider-Man and all that stuff. Because Venom originally in the comics has a really big tie to Spider-Man. But yeah, so Tom Hardy plays Eddie Brock. In this movie, we also have Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy / Carnage. Michelle Williams comes back to reprise the role of Anne. Naomi Harris plays Shriek. Reed Scott plays Dr. Dan Lewis, who is Anne's kind of boyfriend from the last movie, and Stephen Graham, Detective Mulligan, who is the main officer, the main police officer we'll see in this movie. So overall, I enjoyed the movie a lot. I had a pretty interesting experience because I went to the theater. There wasn't a lot of people there. I went to a 4:50. There was a 4 p.m. screening and a 4:15. I figured most people would want to go to the immediate screening at 4, so I was like, let me go to 4:15 to minimize the. I mean, it's already in the middle of the afternoon, so but even less people would be coming in at 4:15, I would think. And I was right. There was only like 6 people there in our theater, so that was pretty nice. Still, everybody kind of maintained their distance. The one weird thing was that um, the two of the big lights didn't go off immediately when the movie started. So I walked out real quick to get an usher to turn them off because it was weird that they were showing on the screen. So that was interesting because normally I always have this fear when they're showing the trailers and the house lights won't go down, that there's something wrong and they're not going down for a reason. But in this case, I was right because the movie started playing. Normally, all the house lights go off, but in this case, they didn't. So yeah, so went and grabbed somebody real quick. They turned them off. I think I don't know. I missed maybe like 30 seconds of the first minute of the movie. So I can't wait to watch it again to see what I missed. Um, yeah, so I got a bunch of notes for Venom. Like I said, this is all very non-spoilery. Like I don't want to ruin this. I want people to go see this on their own, and I understand the movie just came out. So um, the movie is if you watch the last movie, this movie's still pretty goofy. It's still pretty weird. Like it's kind of all over the place. You saw the trailer, how it's kind of like all over the place with Venom and being very playful and aggressive and weird towards Eddie. It's an interesting relationship. I'll talk more about that a little bit. Um, yeah, and the story overall, it's a little messy. It's not the most cohesive thing, but I don't think that detracts from the movie. Like I mentioned, I think that was also kind of a weak spot in the first movie. So if you didn't have a problem with that, I don't think you'll have a problem with this movie. Um, let's see. I will say the Venom from these movies is very different from the comics. At least any iteration that I've read. Uh, this Venom in the movies is more. I mean, even in the first movie, he calls himself like the outcast from his species, like a loser. And the Venom in the comics, like, is more confident and more like, like, yeah, I'm the guy, right? Like, I'm the main dude, like big heel energy. So I always thought it was interesting that they decided to make that change, but I feel like it works because you can. Eddie Brock in the comics is also more of a heel villain type that you don't want to root for. He's pretty much, for the most part, he's a bad dude until more recently. Now that he's in his later inner, but at the beginning, like, he was. I mean, he's a bully. He's a bully towards Peter, and he's just kind of an asshole all around. So I think for these movies to work without having Spider-Man introduce the Venom first, you want to root for Eddie Brock, and Tom Hardy needs to play like somebody that's kind of like an underdog, and therefore the symbiote also has to be an underdog. So that completely makes sense. It's a weird change. I think I put that as a plus minus because I know a lot of people are not gonna like that. Like, the Venom comics are. I mean, we'll go over some recommendations later, but the ones I read are pretty good, and the character's very different. So let's see. Let's go into a couple of negative. The CGI feels like it's all over the place, and I was expecting that. I think like I said, we got that with the previous movie, where the fight at the end in the previous movie, it was a lot of CGI effects and the big blobs just kind of going at each other, right? Uh, so so this one, I mean, this is another symbiote, so it's kind of going to be the same issue. The one advantage that they have now is that Carnage is red, Venom is black, pretty much all over. So it's more easy to distinguish the symbiotes when they're fighting. Also, Carnage is very much different from what you've seen in the pictures or even in the preview. Um, Carnage has a lot of weapons like that are very jagged and sharp, whereas Venom is just kind of retains his form. One cool thing that we saw in the trailer, Venom's always been kind of like a suit uh, to Eddie, whereas in the trailer we saw that Carnage kind of breaks apart the body of Woody Harrelson or of Cletus Cassidy. So that's interesting that they've also made that change. Um, Speaking of the characters, real quick, I felt Shriek was a little bit incomplete. I wish we would have gotten more backstory for that character. Woody Harrelson's great. Uh, if I mean Woody Harrelson's been pretty much in everything, so he definitely nails the character. All those weird vibes we got from the end credit scene of the previous movie, like, I feel like they fine tuned what they wanted of Cletus Cassidy, including the hair. They fixed a lot of hair in this movie. Not just Cletus Cassidy with the curls, which I understand why they did them the way they did, but they don't translate to real life very well. But they also fixed Michelle Williams' hair. She had that weird wig on, like, throughout the whole first movie. So yeah, I'm glad they finally fixed that. Uh, Another positive that was a positive. Another positive is that the movie is genuinely funny. There was moments where, even though there was only six of us in the theater, like, we were all just laughing out loud, gut busting. Like, and it's a lot of the things and it's not just Venom dialogue. Like, it's from a lot of different places. So the movie is genuinely funny, and I think that's kind of the thing that we're going for. I think Andy Serkis is kind of a weird dude. John Bainbridge. I kind of like the terrible wig. I mean, it had its charm, but I'm glad they changed it for this one. Um, so yeah, this movie is, I think, funny. Uh, the main linchpin of this movie for me is this movie revolves around the foundation of this is the relationship between Eddie and the symbiote. If you don't get on board with that, you can't get on board with the rest of what the movie's postulating. And I think they nailed it. Like, it's really good. I think they are. Yeah, it's just a. I mean, it's definitely a symbiotic relationship where they need each other. They both know that because they're both underdogs, the only way to succeed is for them to do things together. So the movie focuses a lot on that. So once they nail that foundation, everything else kind of stems out from there. So I definitely very much enjoy that. The movie is very fun. It's really entertaining. It's only 90 minutes, so it's all very quick paced. So I think you'll be in and out of there. The credits were not the credits. The trailers were like a quarter of my time at the theater, which is wild. So after watching this, I'm convinced that Sony will make another Venom movie. I feel like they just can't not do it. Like I did mention, and if you're watching this on the chat, I don't know if the first one was rated R or PG-13. This one's rated PG-13, and you can definitely feel that. I think they cut back down on the violence and just gave you a little bit of more implied violence, um, which I guess makes sense, but I don't know if it's true. Like especially for a Carnage story, I feel like that's when you might need to go rated R, but we'll see. So for any of you guys that are watching, and we're coming to the end of the review pretty much, I do have one more thing I want to chat about before I let y'all go, because I know there's another stream coming up at the top of the hour. Um, oh, Leonard Kim, good question. A lot of Carnage. This is as much a Carnage movie as it is a Venom movie. So yeah, good question. And like I said, Woody Harrelson just. I mean, if you watch what is it, True Detective season 1 or Natural Born Killers and stuff like that, Woody can bring it when it comes to like the type of character that Cletus Cassidy is. So if you have any more questions while we're going through this stuff, or as I go into the next thing, let me know. There is one end credit scene, so make sure to stick around for that. That's all I'll say on that. So be careful with spoilers and everything because people are wild. I'm surprised I made it this far without spoilers, just the way I'm online so much with looking at stuff to put stuff together for a show and stuff like that. But yeah, there's one end credit scene, and I really enjoyed it. Great. I'm glad you're liking what you're hearing, Greg. Yeah. So overall, this is the main takeaway. Yeah, the main takeaway of this for me is if you like the first movie, you're gonna enjoy this one. If you didn't like the first movie, there's a chance that you might like this one because it brings a lot of different things that the first one may not have offered. If you enjoy the relationship between Eddie and the symbiote, I think you'll also enjoy this movie a lot. Let's see. Carnage overall. Oh, it's PG-13, so there's not as far as that type of carnage. It's more of implied carnage. So yeah, so but that's kind of where we get into the whole CGI thing. But yeah, that's it. I'll do like I said, I'm doing a write up for my letterbox of the like you'll get an actual letter grade. I'm still kind of thinking over what the actual grade is, but I'm between 70 and 80%. Like I said, I think I'm pretty close to the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So keep an eye out for that. Now, the next part of the stream, as you guys know, I'm a comics dude. So let's talk a little bit about comics origins and reading recommendations. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I'm glad people are excited to see it. I want people to go watch it. Um, and if you guys like these, I may do more of these live streams after movies. I think we don't do enough nighttime programming live on the channel. One cool thing, I did grab a picture of something while I was at the theater. We get some thanks to some comic creators. So Venom, we get thanks to Venom's creators, Todd McFarlane, David Michelini. Carnage, created by David Michelini and Mark Bagley. Donny Cates, Clayton Crane, Tom DeFalco, Eric Vine, Larry Hama, Eric Larson, Ron Lim, Greg Lusniak, Peter Milligan, Art Nichols, Ryan Stegman, and Andrew Wildman. All these people are pretty much involved in all the comics that I'm going to be talking about in a minute for the reading recommendations. So let's go into some quick first appearances. So for Venom, it gets a little complex. We have, especially because comic book people and collectors they love their key issues. Um, so we have three different first appearances for what we would call the symbiote and Venom. So we have the Amazing Spider-Man here. Oh geez, what's the Amazing Spider-Man 252? That's the first appearance of just the symbiote, the suit. Then we have the Amazing Spider-Man 299, which is what they call a cameo appearance, which means that I don't know why it's different than a first appearance really, but this is the panel, like the one I put right here. You guys can see the panel, like this panel of Venom, like that's what you see in the that's what you see in the comics. So I don't know why that would not be the first appearance, but then we have Venom, first full appearance in the Amazing Spider-Man 300, and like I mentioned, created by David Michelini and Todd McFarlane. Next we have Carnage is a little bit more straightforward. Carnage was created by David Michelini, Mark Bagley, and first appearance in the Amazing Spider-Man 361. I actually have this issue of Amazing Spider-Man, uh, like in one of those cool slabs that where you protect comics that it's graded. Yeah, that's very cool. Let's see. All right. So now let's move on to some reading recommendations, and then we'll close out the show. So for Venom, I picked a few things. So we have Lethal Protector, which is pretty much when Venom has to team up with Spider-Man to take on all the symbiotes that has spawned out of all these symbiotes just kind of come out of Venom himself. Not just Carnage. He keeps having other things that the suit kind of reproduces on itself. Next, we also have this Venom run by Rick Remender. Now, the one cool thing about this is actually not Eddie Brock in the suit. It's Flash Thompson. So, if you're only familiar with the MCU, uh, Flash Thompson is Tony Revolori. He plays that character. And cool thing about that, the shirt I'm wearing, the Venom shirt I'm wearing, it's from the same artist, Joe Quesada, from the Venom we're looking at. And then we also have Venom Separation Anxiety, where Venom is actually this is in Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider. So then he has to face up against him. Um, for Carnage, we have a few cool stories. We have Maximum Carnage, uh, which was so popular that it got turned into an SNES game. A Super Nintendo game. It's the red cartridge, very famous red cartridge. Then we have Carnage USA, where Carnage infects a whole like a small town of people and just kind of takes over, and the Avengers have to go stop him. That story is very cool, with art by Clayton Crane, who's one of the artists that was named in the thanks from the movie. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, who's your friend? Oh, so Matt says that his friend did artwork for the Venom issue with the Flash. Yeah. Let me know who what the name of your friend is. Maybe I've read some of that stuff. Um, and then we have Minimum Carnage, which is a little story with the Flash Thompson Venom. They has to team up with Kane Parker, the Scarlet Spider. So a lot of these not they don't actually. Wait, your friend is Tess Fowler? Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know Tess Fowler. Like I've read stuff with Tess Fowler art. Uh, yes, John Bainbridge, you're nailing completely. If you look at Clayton Crane's work, like it's all very painterly like this. And yes, this Carnage USA cover is so creepy, and they've homaged this so many times. Dude, that's so cool, Matt, that your friend's Tess Fowler. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I follow Tess on Twitter. And then so let me to wrap up Minimum Carnage. Yeah, so Venom has figured out how to. I think he uses some kind of like pin particle thing to infect people on a microscopic level, and Venom and Scarlet Spider have to team up to take him down. Now, the last recommendation, and this is the most recent stuff really that if you want to get into Venom and Carnage, I would recommend maybe starting here and working your way back to the other stuff. This is by one of my current favorite writers. So we have, uh, I guess I would call this the Donny K Venom universe, where we have the whole Venom run that he did with Ryan Stegman. So this is 36 issues, and it starts with after we um, after we learn that Venom comes from a race of space aliens called the Clintar, but they're all serving the one god, Null, the god of darkness. Uh, so it starts there. Then we have Absolute Carnage, where Carnage comes back. This is also crosses over with the Venom run, and then it all kind of leads up to this event of King in Black, where Null, the god of the void, comes to Earth to take back the Venom symbiote, because that's the one symbiote that he uh, he cannot control anymore because it has broken from the hive. If you guys remember from the first movie, Venom and the rest of the symbiotes, they work kind of like a hive mind, and if one of them is to lead astray, then it can kind of cause problems for everyone else. So so yeah, those are my reading recommendations. Yeah, all these I mean, I've tried to pick some of the coolest covers that I could find. I think Venom is kind of a cool character because of the. I mean, Todd McFarlane knew what he was doing when he designed Venom, right? He comes from a Spider-Man design, which is already cool within itself. I mean, Ditko was a genius at making sure things look cool and appealing, and Spider-Man's only look like the more people kind of um, I guess the more modern he gets, I think the cooler Spider-Man has looked. Venom is very similar because then you throw on, you're making Spider-Man cooler by making him like a bigger alien type of dude. So yeah, I love the Venom design. I love the Carnage design. I love the design of all these symbiote characters. So I have a lot. I have bought a lot of covers of stuff, a lot of comics just based on the covers because they look cool, and a lot of them have symbiote related stuff. So, but yeah, that's about it. So that was the review of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Like I mentioned, go check it out at the theater. Very excited for that. Other than that, thanks everybody in the chat. Matt, John, Leonard Kim, Greg. I saw Hitman Hudson come in. Glenn Caesar. Thank you guys. I want to thank Rob Fishbeck too for sending his audience this way. I was watching the chat over there. I was watching a show. And actually head over to the Rob Fishbeck Network. Let me see if I can find the link. They have another show happening at 10, where is Characters of Culture, favorite performances in film. Like I said, Rob asked me, well, he invited me to this one, but I told him I was probably going to be busy because I thought I was going to be at the movies, but I got to go early. So let's see. Let's see if that works. I think that should work. So go check it out there. If you guys can see the link I posted on the chat. Maybe not. Maybe here. Oh, there we go. Said there work. Okay. Yeah, so go check it out. That's the link to Rob's show. It's coming up at 10 p.m. Thanks everyone for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment with any of your thoughts from the original Venom movie. If you have any questions about any of these Venom comics or any comics in general, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. October, we're doing a bunch of horror stuff. We're starting off with horror comics. So I know 10 a.m. is usually early for some people, but that's the one time where we can really do the show. So, but yeah, I'll try to do more of these things later in the day. Maybe some more movies or whatever. So yeah, but thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Bye bye, everyone. Let's see. Bye, everyone.